She's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and it's like, listen, I know the stereotype is that girls take forever in the bathroom, but she was probably in there for like a suspicious amount of time. And so suspicious amount of time, she hops up on the pool table and he like looks in her eyes and he's like, yeah, you're on drugs.
And then he bounces because he doesn't want to deal with her shit anymore. And
I'm just like, listen, anyone who's like had to break up with someone because of a drug problem, it's like that huge thing of some like people feel guilty for leaving because they feel like, oh, but this person clearly needs my help.
Right.
And I'm like, that's like a very nice like instinct to have, but like that's what gets taken advantage of. And so often I'm always just like, you like they have to worry about them and you have to worry about you, please leave. But in this case I'm like, that doesn't even cross Owen's mind. It doesn't. I'm just like, I don't know, it's like I wish more people would be able to make that choice, but he just like doesn't struggle with it. He's like, bye coke bitch. And I'm just like, okay, but she clearly has like troubles, but all right. I don't know. I like, obviously I'm super biased against Owen, and won't apologize for it, but
yeah, but that is very true. He does not worry about that in this life. Like he's like, oh, bye. You need help? Not my problem. Bye.
He put her on a pedestal. He aggressively went after her with like, because he thought she was this ideal girl.
Yeah.
And now she's not fitting that image. And so instead of seeing her for who she is and trying to help her, he's just like, bye.
Yeah, it's gross on all sides.
My next line is, Eli is super creepy.
But then we are at the dot for the interview. And Claire's like interviewing him. She brings up Imogen and he gets real defensive. It's like, there's nothing going on between us.
Okay, first off, they sit down and she goes, all right, so tell me about the play. And he goes, you're really beautiful.
Right.
And she's like, stop.
Yeah, she's like, this is an interview. Please stop doing
And
that.
he's like, what? I don't understand the problem. And I'm just like, you're the reason why men are trash.
There are so many reasons why men are trash.
Yeah. So Eli looks like Luke from Return of the Jedi, but is also having like a breakdown because like Jake pops up and he's like, what is he doing here on our date?
Yeah. And Claire's like, we're going to the movies after this interview. And then I think she asks about like what inspired the changes. And he's like, what inspires anything really? Love and blood, which is creepy as hell. And he's just like lashing out now that Jake has appeared and it's getting really intense.
Yeah, it's just like Eli is so all over the place. He keeps bouncing from each extremes because literally this episode begins with Claire should be with Jack, or Clara should be with Jack, and I'm just like, I'm just really confused about what Eli's motivations are, and like maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
As like his later monologue shows, but at this point, I'm just like, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah, I feel like it's gone past like what does he want, and he's just writing out his unstable emotions.
He's trying to fix his life by writing it. Like he feels like if he writes it down, then he can control it to go that way.
Yeah. And it's not how it works, bro. Also, you need to be on your medication. But then we're with Anya, and she's throwing up in the bathroom, and Bianca walks in and is like, you look like roadkill.
I wrote, Bianca walks into the bathroom, sees the back of Anya's head for 3 seconds, and goes, you look like shit. Like fucking savage.
And then Anya's like, bad batch of coke, I guess. And Bianca's like, yeah, I heard Chloe does that. Which I'm like, what?
I don't know. Bianca, this entire scene does not give a fuck. It looks like she walked into the bathroom, saw Anya, and was like, God damn it, I don't want to have to deal with her right now.
And then Anya sits on the floor of the bathroom, which is gross.
That's not even the weirdest part about this bathroom. There's a fucking TV in the wall of the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, so clearly the Degrassi writers wanted to deliver information that Anya's clearly having, like, problems with the cocaine, by puking it up. she needed a sounding board person to talk about her feelings, and she also needed to discover the army. And they felt this needed to happen in one scene. And so as a result, we have weird TV in the bathroom showing Canadian Forces ads.
Yeah, and then this is how she decides she wants to join the army, from weird ass TV bathrooms that are showing like Canadian Forces advertisements, which is very confusing.
Are they at the pool hall? Are they at the beefcake? Like, where are they?
We're still at the pool
where there's the most disgusting skeezy dive bar bathroom with a goddamn like Pee-wee's Playhouse TV installed in the wall.
It's super weird. And then the last scene is Eli after Claire like left. Eli like called somebody and was like, meet me at my house, I need help. And then we are at Eli's house, and he had called Imogen over to practice the play / live out his fantasies through rehearsals, because they practice the play, and he like calls her Claire, and they like make out a bunch, and it's really creepy and weird.
Yeah, there are two phrases I wrote over and over again, and it's like, Eli is spiraling and Imogen doesn't deserve this.
Yeah.
So like, apparently we're supposed to eventually like Imogen.
Right.
Fuck you, Sean. And I was wondering.
That was aggressive.
He knows what he did. We have a Twitter feud. Sean P. Quigley, I'm calling you the fuck out.
Oh my God.
Right here. I'm taking a stand on Holland's podcast. I'm a guest here. But it's just like.
Hey, he's a guest too.
Yeah, fucking fight me.
Guest be guest.
We're gonna box. Anyway.
Celebrity death match, but not really celebrities.
Oh my God, Han, you're so behind on what the internet is doing right now. I'm so disappointed in you. But what was my point? I was wondering if this was the episode in which we'd start seeing Imogen a little more sympathetically, because she's being so manipulated by Eli.
Yeah.
She's not like, because they're making out for the rehearsal, and then they sort of start making out for real, and she's like, oh my God, Eli, like, I've always wanted this. And he's like, me too, Clara. Or Claire, whatever. And I don't know. She's just like.
And she's like, you mean Clara, right? And he
like,
goes along with it.
And then he just kisses her like, don't worry about it. It's just like, he's using her in the worst possible way. And I'm like, she doesn't fucking deserve this. But then she does some shit in part 2 where I'm just like.
Yeah. And then I feel like this episode also kind of shows a little more of like just how like naive and young Imogen is, and like doesn't actually really know what the fuck she's doing. Like, yeah, because earlier she's like, I thought you stopped taking your meds so you could like be creative and write the play. It's like, oh, she clearly doesn't actually have any idea like the consequences of him going off his meds, because she's young and uninformed and thinks that it's just like they were just blocking his creativity, so he was just gonna go off them, and then when he was done writing it, he'd just go back on them and everything would be fine.
It almost feels like they wrote her to be younger and then made her a junior.
Yeah, it's weird,
and it's kind of insulting. They're just like, I don't know. But then part 2 opens up with Eli calling her M'lady. This is the second time like, Eli has said M'lady.
And, oh yeah, we're at like play rehearsal. And Eli now has a plan to get Jake out of his way.
I was like, Eli's gonna fucking murder Jake.
I was like, that is
and Imogen
as fuck.
Imogen's like super concerned. I'm like, tell a teacher.
Fucking Imogen.
And I said, Anya, queen of rash decisions.
And then, then we're with Anya, and she's like, guess what, Mom? I want to join the army. And her mom was like, what? This could, like, she's like, this could be dangerous. Like, you might get shipped off to Afghanistan or something. And Anya's like, yeah, could be. I don't know. I just want to do it. And it's like, Anya, you clearly have not thought this through.
I don't know. I just want to date a doctor. I don't know. I want to date Owen. I don't know. It's like,
and then she's like, well, I already sent in my application, so whatever. Like, I'm 18. You can't tell me what to do now.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Stop controlling my life, Mom. I'm 13. I'm basically an adult.
But then we're back with Eli and Imogen, and this is when Eli has his plan of, like, planting drugs in Jake's locker, which is very Peter season 6 with the Sean.
That was season 6?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was season 6.
God, that seems so long ago.
It was like 5 seasons ago.
I know, but it also seems so far like into Degrassi's life because it's when I stopped watching.
Well, season 6 is still 6 seasons in. You're right on both of those things.
Why are we doing this? We're so old.
Hey, man, I do this every week. Twice a week.
Oh, fuck. My notes are Eli is delusional. And then stop saying whack. Do we have a Dave and Casey episode?
Yeah, but first, like, Eli tells Imogen his plan, and he's, like, shaking and, like, drops the drugs he's going. It's his own, like, prescription drugs. And Imogen is like, you're shaking, and is, like, finally kind of getting worried about him. And then she's like, here, give them to me, and I'll help you do it. And I'm like, okay, so is she taking it away from him and is, like, really not going to do it and is going to tell a teacher or what?
That's what I was fucking hoping.
That's what I was hoping,
because
too.
He says something. He says, like, Eli, like, Imogen is like, what about us? Like, Eli's like, we're going to plant the drugs to get rid of Jake so I can be with Claire. But Imogen's like,
that happens later, I think.
No, right? No, because she's like, but what about us? And he's just like, you can't be with someone if someone else is in the way. And that's when she has that moment of realization of,
like, oh, somebody's in the way.
Okay, so here's the thing. I took that as he's never going to really like me because he's still obsessed with Claire. I'm going to take the drugs and tell a teacher. But that's not what fucking happened. So let's just cut to Casey and Dave.
Dave thinks Casey is whack for not actually thinking of his child, is my note. He keeps saying whack. And then he also, like, ends it with, by the way, the Power Squad hates you, and, like, walks away.
Same. And then my next note is, Imogen, no, this is why we hate you.
But their fight was because Casey is like, I don't want him to do this. And Dave is like, you're stupid. But yeah, then we're with Imogen and Eli, and we see Jake and Claire's lockers being, like, searched. And it turns out Imogen stuck the drugs in Claire's backpack instead of Jake's. And then
she's like, now we can be together.
Yeah, she's like, now someone's not in the way. And then Eli is like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not what it was supposed to happen. And then he says, you are to me what I am to Claire, and I am nothing to her. And then, like, storms away.
I'm like, dude, you can't even reject her without bringing up Claire. Come on.
Are we surprised by this?
I'm just like, you're a writer. You couldn't think of more clever ways to say you mean nothing to me.
I mean, or maybe he did it deliberately to just twist in the knife.
And this just goes back to Kelsey's point last episode of fucking, like, girls who fall for bad boys. And they think, like, oh, he's so mysterious and he's, like, dark and damaged. But, like, if I'm there for him. And it's like, no, bitch. He's damaged for his own goddamn reasons. And you can't just, like,
save like, somebody with your love.
I love you, which means you should get better. And it's like, no, he needs therapy.
Like, professional help.
Yeah.
And then we're with Casey and Jenna. And then it turns out Casey finally did something good for a change. And he called the agent to get the adoptive parents, like, back to come and adopt the child. And he actually admits that he was being selfish. And I am honestly shocked that he admitted that he was wrong about something. But good for Casey. Like, adoption's back on. Thank fucking God.
And I'm just like, doesn't the adoption process take, like, way longer than this? Like, hashtag maybe it's different. But don't, like, the prospective parents have to, like, meet the children and the parents over a long period of time to, like, make sure that this is the baby they really want to be with?
I mean, maybe that's what they're still...
Because, like, if we think back to Juno, it wasn't one conversation with nice people. They had to keep meeting. I know
maybe it's different if, like, the baby's already been born.
I don't know. I just feel like this is just TV
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like TV, like, we're getting the baby out of here.
Yeah.
But then we are in the principal's office. We're with Mr. Simpson and Claire. And Claire's like, those aren't mine. I don't know how they got there. And Eli comes in to, like, bail her out. And is like, Claire was holding on to my medications. They were mine. La, la, la. And then Mr. Simpson's like, okay, fine. You're good to go. Like, and he's like, I mean, this is kind of weird, though. Like, maybe I should call your parents to check in. And Eli's like, I mean, they're going to be here tonight for the play. They're so proud of me for this play. And, like, kind of manipulates Mr. Simpson into not calling his parents until later. Which is not a great idea, but whatever. And then the army calls Anya to say that she would have been a like perfect recruit, except she failed the drug test because guess what, Anya? You were literally just doing coke 5 seconds ago.
You're so fucking stupid. Like, I'm